Should my phone be up here?
Just for safekeeping, but you're not writing about yourself.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, you can jump in anytime, ask a question, follow up, be aggressive. Just be nice. So go ahead, all yours. Oh, before you start, introduce yourself so the devices can distinguish your voices.
I'm Sophie.
I'm Nicole.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For the women on the panel, what is your ideal first date?
Rephrase question, make it gender.
Okay. What is your
What do women
what do women prefer to do on a first date?
I would say something active and something that you can active, but also, I don't know, I would say an activity like a hike so you can talk, or a picnic, and just not like the movies where you just sit there and you're silent and kind of just sitting by each other, or like dinner, you know.
Yeah, I would say definitely not the movies. It definitely depends on how long you guys were talking before the first date, because if you pick like a sunset date and then you end up not liking them and they want to make out with you, then you're like, don't want to do that either. So something fun and like kind of in public too.
Yeah, I would definitely
Like
say in
walking around's
public.
fun, yeah.
You said dinner. Where would you go to dinner? Like barbecue?
Korean barbecue.
I would
Italian?
say a fun restaurant with a good vibe, plays music, probably like loud music. You could go to a place that has like happy hour and get like dinner and or like drinks and appetizers, so it's not too late in the evening as well.
Honestly, grabbing sushi and then like going to like Dave and Buster's and getting drinks is like so cool, because like one, you're like eating in a restaurant, and then two, you're like having fun and then drinking and then playing games, and like it's like a mixture of everything.
I have a question for the women on the panel. As women, how do you balance feelings of misogyny with the expectation that some men should be breadwinners?
Can you restate that question?
Sure, I'll repeat it. How do you, as women, how do you balance feelings of misogyny with the expectations that men should be breadwinners in society?
I don't think we think like that.
recast question, make it a gender?
Let's see. I don't know exactly how you would want me to restate that.
Change you to women.
How do women balance feelings of misogyny with the expectations that men should be breadwinners?
We don't care.
I personally don't rely on men,
Yeah.
and I don't think women.
Rephrase your answer, this is important.
I don't think women rely on men as much to be a breadwinner.
So my follow-up question for the women on the panel: as women, do women feel comfortable with a man who is more submissive?
I would say yes, mostly yes, but that's kind of relating that to the people I know and my friends.
Thank you.
I have a question. How would women describe a healthy relationship?
Open communication. A good balance of alone time and then spending time individually with your friends.
You don't rely on each other. You know that you can be perfectly fine without each other.
Not codependent at all.
If you know you can be perfectly fine without the other person and you both feel the need at the end of the day to stay with each other, I believe that's a healthy relationship, because you know what you deserve.
And when you're not always accusing someone of something too.
But communication
Exactly.
is number one for sure.
Yeah.
have a question.
Mhm.
Can you be friends with an ex?
Rephrase question.
Can women be friends with an ex?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like I should have a follow-up.
Yeah.
Now think of your questions, you're giving them close-ended questions.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, jump in there.
Are either of you friends with your exes?
I am, yes.
I am.
Do you talk regularly?
No, for my instance, I was friends with him before I dated him. And then after the relationship, we had no contact for a couple months. And then when we were both fully like over it, we became friends again.
Is the friendship the same as it was before?
Speak up again, we couldn't hear.
Is the friendship the same as it was before?
More or less. Obviously, it's a little different, but still, I could tell him anything.
What do you think are women's most important traits that we look for when we're or when women are kind of analyzing the first date?
What we look for in men?
Yeah.
Their manners, how they talk to the wait staff,
If they're on their phone.
if they get you at the door, if they open the door for you, how they speak to other people around,
How they speak to you.
yeah.
If they hold you to expectations after the first date too. Is that clear?
Is there anything that women do on a first date that tries to get them noticed? Do you want me to rephrase?
I would say women obviously try their best to look as presentable and,
Yeah, we dress up.
get ready, put makeup on, feel cute so they feel confident. They do it for themselves, not for them though.
Yeah, because you know how guys do push-ups or whatever before
Yes.
build or whatever. So for girls, we do that with makeup for ourselves to make us have more confidence for ourselves. That's
Mhm.
kind of equal to the guys doing push-ups.
Do women try to be more funny on the date or try to sound more smart?
Probably in my, in my experience, for some reason, I'm actually smart, but when I like a guy, I become dumb out of nowhere. I'm like, oh hi, it's so annoying. And so I think when you're around someone that you like, you just kind of, before you know them and you're not comfortable with them, you just kind of act how you think they would like you. If you think they're into someone else, kind of blonde or whatever, then you kind of act like that. And it's so weird.
What was your question again? Sorry.
What do women try to do on dates
Oh, yeah.
that make men notice them? And then I asked if you guys try to be more funny or more smart. That was the question.
For my personal experience, I'm on first dates, I'm completely and utterly myself. Because if the guy isn't a fan of me, I could care less. Because at the end of the day, as long as I'm me, I'll end up finding someone who likes me for me. And if you don't like me for me, I'm not gonna have this fake personality just for someone else.
I have a question for the panel. As women, how do women navigate online dating?
Very good.
Yeah, can you kind of specify?
What are some things, as women, what are things that you should avoid while online dating?
If you ever were to meet up with someone, tell obviously a friend and a family member and do it in public, do it in daylight, don't do it at night. Make sure you have a car there if you want to leave rather than him pick you up. I would just say,
This is an easy way to get out too.
yeah. And then,
Also, before you meet up with someone on a dating website, really get to know what they're looking for. If they're generally looking for a relationship or a hookup or something, just so you know what situation you're getting yourself into.
I would say don't do it immediately. Like, let's say you match with someone and then they want to take you out for dinner and drinks the next day. I would give it like a week or two.
Talk a little bit.
Talk, FaceTime, call, and try to see if you have any like mutual friends, ideally, because then you could see like kind of more who they are as a person and their intentions and who they are, I guess.
To investigate.
Yeah, definitely.
As women, how long is the ideal dating period?
Like,
Before you become official?
Before official.
I say a few months, honestly.
Can you specify?
I don't know. I feel like ideally 2 to 3 months, but I know like nobody really does that anymore. They probably like. What would you say?
I would say 2 to 3
2 to
months.
3 months.
Sorry, well, I have a question to piggyback off of his. As women, do you follow that rule because it's a social norm, or because
No.
you think that's adequate amount of time that should be had?
Because that's what we're looking for. Like, if we're like looking for a relationship, we want to spend that time to get to know the person more and figure out what they're truly looking for, and if they have what we're looking for, and if we're compatible, and not rush into things.
Maybe meet their family. You
Yeah.
don't want to do that after like 3 weeks of knowing them.
No.
Meet their like friend group. You'll get to see more about them through that.
Yeah.
Do women look for long-term or temporary relationships, and why?
Good question.
Well, we don't know other women that much.
I think women look for long term because hookup culture has been so glamorized, and I think it's like kind of gonna take a turn and go in the opposite direction because it went so deep in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know, it's just more stable and
I mean, women are very emotional anyway,
yeah.
and we look for the long term and to find our like best friend to be like go through life with, and someone who you can be like goofy with and like be your best friend, and then also like date, and it's like completely fun when you're like best friends with your boyfriend. And yeah, no, we don't like feeling used, or like at least I don't like feeling used. So definitely not short term. You want to know if they're talking to anybody else or anything like that. And just feel like you're valued, and that's why being in a relationship is like just so much better.
For my personal experience, I wouldn't ever just date to date.
Mm-mm.
Like, unless I see a future, I'm not dating you.
Yeah, if you're dating to date, then you're dating to break up. But if you're dating because you like the person and you want like a long term, then that's something completely different.
Yeah.
How would women define a healthy relationship?
I think he asked that one.
Oh,
I
did
do
you
have
ask
that.
that? Okay.
You're good. Going back to like the first date, like what are some things that like women would see on a first date that would make them think I don't want to do a second one?
When they walk so much in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm just
Ew.
like, excuse me, I'm back here. Or like if they don't open the door.
Yeah.
If they're like trying to show off a lot, like, bro, I just like lifted this much. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, yeah.
If they talk only about themselves and you're just sitting there, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm
Yeah.
so uninterested.
I've had that recently. It's so annoying.
If they're rude to, like, kind of, are you asking like red flags?
Oh yeah, you're
Sure.
asking red flags.
Yeah,
So
that's another one.
True. There you go.
From my personal experience, I always offer to pay, but if they allow me to pay and it went well, I would never talk to them again. That's what I would do though.
Gotcha.
Because I kind of want them to I want the man to take initiative on the first date. I'm not saying forever, but I'm
Yeah.
saying on the first date for sure. If it didn't go well and I'm offering to pay because I don't want to see them again, then I'm happy to pay. But if it went well and he let me pay, I wouldn't talk to him again. Honestly.
It's a buyout. I'm gonna pay. See you later. bye.
Penalty.
For women, do men have to directly ask them, hey, do you like want to be my girlfriend, for you guys to actually consider, or the women actually consider them like a man for them to be like dating?
I would say yes.
We lean towards yes, like we prefer it, but sometimes like that doesn't really always happen. Like with my friend, she met her boyfriend now in Arizona, and he lives here, and he's like one of my close friends, and they just like would take turns going to each other's houses and stuff, and then out of nowhere he's like, oh yeah, this is my girlfriend, and she's like, wait, what? So like they didn't even have that conversation, but like since they were just like always together, then they kind of assumed that too.
I think making a label just takes away any confusion. And for my instance, when my boyfriend, before we became official, we became exclusive. So we just made it clear that we weren't talking to anyone else and we only were focused on each other.
That's really important.
Yeah, that's really important. And then when we became official, it was like it was a question. Do you want to be official? Will you be my girlfriend?
Like you kind of have to become exclusive before you're official. You know, because like who would really want to be with someone that's like hooking up with other people like a few days before you become boyfriend girlfriend?
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? So you weren't only talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a college course, right? So I can ask whatever question
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah. But they may not answer.
Okay. As women, what are some rules around sex and casual dating
Like hookups?
in general? Yeah.
I don't really know what you're asking. Because that's like very.
So, okay, let me rephrase. So, as women,
No, what
Just
do
ask
women-
the
what
direct
do
question.
women, what do women think about sex and casual dating?
Well, there's two very different types
I
of
think-
things.
Are you talking about
I think
hookup
it's trying to
culture?
ask,
You're talking about,
like,
like-
how long after you start dating are you comfortable enough to have sex with the guy?
Whether it be 2 months, 1 month, a week, a day,
Oh.
I would say like a month or two.
What is the expectation?
and do you follow them?
I mean, you kind of have to read the guy and then also think about what you want. Like, for us, we like long term. So if your mindset is I want a long term relationship, you obviously don't give it up at all that fast. And you want to get to know them. Because if you do hook up, like, with your goal being to date, then you think that they might only like you for your body and not for you. So if they get to know you before they get to know your body, then you're like, okay, yeah, they're totally in it just for like me. Rather than, oh, they're only in it because I gave it up and now they want to keep getting it.
Yeah. I also know a ton of women who, just like men, love hookup culture and are okay with, not necessarily, but like kind of
yeah.
sleeping around and just having sex and
I know so many
hooking
girls
up
like
with
that, too.
people. Yeah, it's like very normal and that's all they want. And they make that very clear. But if you're going into intentions, if you're talking to someone who you could see yourself dating, you just have to read the relationship because every relationship's very different.
Mhm.
And who you are and your morals and their morals, it's like everyone's very different. But some people wait till they're dating, some people have sex the first night they meet and end up getting married. So like it's very different.
Also, to maybe piggyback off of what he was saying, when you ask like what a healthy relationship is, obviously before you get into a relationship, you guys should like ask questions and establish certain stuff. Like, you don't want to already be in a relationship and then be like, wait, I'm a virgin, or like I don't want to do anything till marriage. You want to do that like obviously before, and like get to know each other, of course, better. And then that way, when you're in a relationship, you won't have any of those like.
It's all communication.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do women expect men to establish like an official relationship, or is it okay for women to establish the
It's
relationship?
definitely okay for women
Yeah.
to establish it, but I think right now it's
Like I always.
more ideal
Yeah.
for the guy to establish
Like
it.
I think it's good for women to like make the first move or like do anything, like let's say ask for the guy's number or like give the guy their number, but then you have to wait for them to text you back. You don't, like, the girls don't make all the moves. And then we do ideally want to be asked to be like boyfriend girlfriend. Like we probably won't do that ourselves.
Yeah, I would never.
No, I wouldn't do that. I just broke the table.
What?
I broke the table.
This question is kind of out there if you don't know the answer to it.
Speak loudly, please.
This question is kind of out there, so like, are you either of guy video?
Oh
Mhm.
God.
Oh my
Okay,
God, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as women, do you think women are right in believing that couch guy was cheating?
Yes.
Okay. Can you maybe like explain what red flags women saw from that video?
A guy being on a couch with a bunch of girls and then his girlfriend coming in and surprising him and he doesn't even look excited or
Yeah,
like
no.
that surprised and he's kind of like, oh shit.
Well, regardless if those girls on the couch were her friends or not, one of them had their arm around him. They should have like introduced themselves or whatever, jumped up, and like he didn't seem interested when she walked in, and being around, like, I have a lot of experience around like frat guys and guys in general, and like I can literally think like them, like that's how much I've been around them. But yeah, no, he was cheating, 100%. Yeah.
If I flew to surprise my boyfriend and he reacted like that, I would literally break up with him.
I'd be like, you're paying for my flight back. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How do women keep an established relationship going?
Well, communication, honestly. And consistently being how you were in the beginning of the relationship. Like, if you guys were so, like, going out on dates and then being, like, really touchy and whatever, obviously, like, a few months in and you don't do any of that stuff, that's not the person who you went into the relationship with. And you became a completely different person.
I think to plan things to look forward to, like trips or like date nights and dinners
Yeah.
and reservations. I also, for me, my boyfriend and I just make everything a date. Like we'll just go downstairs and get coffee before like school or work, and it's like a date. And we just make everything. We like romanticize everything, and it
And that's
keeps
important.
it fun, yeah, and exciting.
As women, what's a sign that a relationship's becoming too codependent?
Speak louder, please.
As women, what is a sign that a relationship is becoming too codependent? Meaning like you rely on each other.
I have a lot of experience in this, to be honest.
It could
Like,
be
I have
pretty
not.
broad, like just-
I'm not a fan, but in my last relationship, me and him were like, we lived together. And so we were like, very like, we need each other, and that's not good at all. But like, if he's out and you're like sitting at home and you're like, when is he gonna get back? When is he gonna get back? Like, I need to be with him. Like, that's not healthy at all. Or when you're like waiting for them to text you and you're like, why isn't he texting me? And like, you need to be able to do your own thing while they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Or like you can tell. It's honestly easy, like when they start like wanting more from you, like when are you gonna hang out with me more? Like I miss you. Like you'll be like, well, I have a life of my own. Like that's very important. You need to have a life of your own. That's why girls, when they're like in their 20s or whatever, they need to establish who they are, what their hobbies are and stuff, because if they're in a relationship and they don't know like what to do with themselves, they're just gonna be sitting at home like waiting for him to get back. And like that's what I was doing. I was literally just like sitting in our apartment like playing the waiting game. Like when is he gonna get back? Instead of going out and doing something I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And that's completely not
Kind of the
healthy.
moment you realize like that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you start revolving your life around theirs,
Yeah.
when it should be
Oh yeah.
you both living your own lives and coming together at the end of the day, more so than like, I don't know. You just both have to be independent and
Oh,
have
yeah.
your own lives, your own jobs, your own hobbies.
I was planning my life around him. Like he gets off work at this time, I'll show up at the apartment at this time. He's going out this time. Okay, I'll take a bath. Or like, instead we should just like coordinate our lives together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That hinders all your
Yeah, yeah.
aspirations. Yeah. Gotcha.
How does love change a relationship, and is it important to women?
And what is it important to?
Is love important to women?
Yeah, and then how does it change a relationship?
To be honest, when you start seeing signs like he can love you or he's falling in love with you, that's when I feel like it's okay to like become a little bit more intimate, or you know that he will start dating you. Like there are signs to look for. And of course like our goal is always like to, well not goal, but like we really always want to be in love or like find love. Like we're not just in it to hook up or like to date or something, you know? Then you had a question.
I did. Do women believe in polyamorous relationships? Do you believe that one person can be in love with two people at once?
Bro, I had a friend that was in a 3-person relationship. It was so weird. I mean, there are definitely weirdos out there. Like, If it works for them, it works for them. That just really means that they like cheating. Like, they're like, I don't want to narrow myself down to one person, so instead I'm going to do that with other people. That's literally just them saying, are you okay if I cheat? That's how I see it.
Do you see it, or do you believe like that one, like there's the male and there's two females? Do you believe the two females could be in love with each other and with the male at the same time? Do you think that that's possible?
I mean, based on the TikToks I watch, I guess it is. Have you seen that like 3-person
I have
like?
a question.
I have
As,
no
uh,
clue.
as women, how would you react to somebody who found your statement that a polyamorous relationship is offensive or is weird? Sorry.
I don't know. New question. That's not bad. I mean, like, let's do a better one.
I'm sorry?
Nothing. Never mind.
Could you rephrase the question?
Yeah, so how would you react to somebody who found your comment as a polyamorous relationship being weird, offensive? What are your
Just be like-
justifications?
Be like, sorry, like, I'm not like that, so it's fine if you want to be you. Like, I'm just saying personally, I'm not into that at all. I'm not saying if you do it, you're like weird, but kind of. You guys could be asking so much better questions.
Two more
though.
questions,
I have a
please.
question. As women, how much privacy should your partner have on social media, like who he DMs and stuff? Like, how much do you check?
Depends on his history, honestly. Like, if he has a history on cheating or whatever.
Yeah.
I would never go in and check someone's phone without their permission, one, and two, if I felt the need to, that's a whole other issue that could probably be solved without even going through his
Like,
phone
if you were
if
given
these
a reason.
problems are already being, like, they're already coming up. But I've honestly never been in a relationship like that, luckily.
How do women cope with a breakup?
Oh, repeat
They
question,
get
ma'am.
really hot.
I said, how do women cope with a breakup?
How do women cope with
You
the
cope
breakup?
by getting really hot.
Hot girl summer. No, but like, you just work on yourself. You get to do all the things that you didn't get to do before. You can travel, you can party, can get that haircut if you want it, change your style, like who cares? Change it up, because your life is changing.
Obviously, based on our conversation, you know something else about me, like, but in that case, it wasn't really like a breakup. And I saw it as I want to better myself, and I want to work on myself, because we were so codependent. I had no hobbies. I didn't even really know who I was. And so, like, I felt like I owed it to him to live my life, like, for him as well. Because he can't live his life anymore, and what else? Like, literally, because when we were together, he would always be like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you, whatever, like, all that stuff, and I feel like I still hear that when I accomplish stuff. Like, it's so weird, and, like, that kind of motivates me, because when he was here, he'd motivate me, and he'd be like, you need to do this, like, you need to do that, and I don't know, I really miss that, too. So I try to do that by myself for the both of us.
Have either of you ever had a rebound?
I have not.
Mm-mm.
Okay, thank you very much. Good job. Good
That was
job.
fun.
Good questions, really good questions and good answers. Our panel has eventually warmed up to